You guys are front and center, and Paolo Banchero, your number one pick, obviously is the talk of the evening. I know there's a lot of context around him and what you guys have going, but let's start there. You've been doing this for a long time, so you've seen everything, you've done everything. 40 years in the NBA, John. So, again, you've seen it all. Is there a buzz? Is there an electricity for you when you see a young fella officially, get his career going on a night like this?
It is. That's kind of the neat thing about what we do.
Yeah.
We always have do-overs. So no matter what happened last season, we get to do it again.
Right.
That's the fun part of our job.
Sure.
And the fun part of our job also is having a chance to have something like this happen, get the number one pick.
Right.
Have an opportunity to draft a guy like Paolo. And, then cheer for him and hope it all goes well. He's been great, and we've enjoyed him. And I tell you, we've really enjoyed too. How you do the post-draft thing. You fly the guy in the next day. You have the presser, and you have a chance to meet the family and spend time with them.
Right.
And even more encouraged about Paolo after being with his family.
Right.
Mother, father, really, really good people. It's encouraging to know that he's had that kind of support base just in his house with his parents, but also extended family too. So that makes me feel very good about him and for him.
Tell me, so to me, the vibe between you guys and Paolo seems incredible right now. I was going through the Orlando Magic Twitter feed, and there's a lot of excitement and interviews where he's talking about the character of some of the new Magic people who are now his coworkers, Coach Jamal Mosley and guys like that. But if you hit the rewind button a little bit and you go back to draft night, as you know, you guys were the talk of the town. You kept your draft process incredibly secret, mysterious, and really shocked the world with that pick. And this stuff's, of course, all been reported. You didn't work out with Paolo, going into the draft, didn't have a meeting with him. You guys clearly looked and said, best player, let's go get him. But what can you share about what happened there in terms of, what we thought outside looking in, and then what was going on behind the walls?
Well, we did have him. We did meet with him. We met with him in Chicago.
In Chicago, right?
And then beyond that, we also had numerous Zooms with him.
Okay.
He did all the testing that we asked for. Of course, we had all the medical information, and always kind of talk about that. There's kind of sometimes gamemanship that's played through this draft process, and sometimes it's played by the team, and sometimes it's played by the agent.
Right.
So,
who we should mention is former Magic player Mike Miller represents Paolo. It's an interesting twist.
Won't go any further than just make that comment being made. But
sure,
he was great with us and says, hey, look, I want to be there.
Yeah.
I want to be the number one pick.
Right.
I would be excited about that, and that's all we wanted to hear. So would we miss? We miss an opportunity to watch him come in and shoot some jump shots. Those workouts are going to be 1-on-0 workouts anyway.
Right.
So watch him shoot some jump shots, watch him handle the ball a little bit. We've been watching him do that, all season.
Right.
And beyond that, some of our, scouts have seen him even in his younger years too. So
right.
we knew him as a player, and just having a chance to get to know him better was great for us. And as I said, even more so, post-draft, having him come in and just solidify everything that we hoped was, it even was better yet.
This wasn't one of those drafts where it was obvious who should go one. Obvious, or, maybe it was to you guys, but outside looking in, Jabari Smith's going to be playing tonight. Chet Holmgren's already debuted for the Thunder. It was, those three were obviously, the opinions out there that it could have been any of them. What was it about Paolo, on tape mostly, I'm sure at Duke, that separated him to you guys and had you take him on?
There's a part of it that you talk about that ready-made factor. And he has that ready-made body. That the fact that he's walking in here at 6'10", basically 250, and it's a this is a man's league, and he's got a man's body. So that was one of the things that excited us. But that's just from the physical side. On the skill side, to me, I think maybe Paolo's greatest attribute on the court is his vision and his ability to pass the ball. The guy is a really good passer. He has a very unselfish game, and I think at times at Duke, talking to their people, I think they'd almost even want him to do more. But that's not really who he is. He's not a selfish guy. He wants to find open people, wants to make people better. So
right.
That's we're really encouraged by that, and think that he has a chance to be a very good player.
Do you mentioned that? Do you view him as a guy that, like, maybe not year one, but down the line, it's like run pick and rolls, get up top, like control the offense essentially?
I think, probably sooner rather than later. And I don't know about controlling the offense as much, but the fact that when you have a big like that can handle the ball, you run a two-man game and he's the ball handler.
Yeah.
I mean, you can really get very creative and say you can have a, if you're going to call him, the four-man at the power forward position. Let's just say, the two guard and the point guard. You can have him handle and let a small handle for a screen for him, and really mix things up. People aren't used to covering that sort of thing, so it makes it just a little more exciting. You can be very creative with him.
John, the standings from last season really say nothing about your group. You know what I mean? You've dealt with so much on the injury front and the health front. I wonder, as you guys discuss this roster, when you have, Jonathan Isaac and everything he's been through, Jalen Suggs dealing with some injury stuff last year, Markelle Fultz, what is the vision in terms of even the guys, like Markelle and Jonathan, they're 24 years old. They've been around for a minute, but they're still very young. And you have a good age track there. What's the vision for all these young pieces and health being a massive factor and how good this team can be?
You just stole my thunder. That's what it's all about for us. It's about health. So we've just got to get healthy.
Yeah.
I think that, if we're a healthy team, we'll overachieve this year. And I don't know what overachieve means. If we go from, to 30 wins, 35 wins, 40 wins. I don't know what that would be, but I can tell you this: we'll overachieve if we're healthy.
Right.
And we'll be a team night in and night out that when people come in and play us, they're going to have to play well to beat us.
Right.
And we're going to have a chance to win games. But, we've just got to get our guys on the floor. We got to get Markelle back. Markelle Fultz we need to have him play 70, 75 games for us. We need to have Jalen Suggs do the same thing. And the real factor, if we can get Jonathan Isaac back, and not trying to put any undue pressure on him whatsoever, but he's working hard. He's getting there, hopefully, and he's the guy. When he's on the floor, everything just fits together, because especially on the defensive end, he's so versatile defensively,
right?
And he's a good offensive player as well, but especially a very good defender, all league defender.
How is he doing from the human level? You're talking 2 years almost. You know what I mean? Makes me think of, Slater covers the Warriors.
Yeah,
We saw with Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
And the stuff that we don't spend enough time analyzing, which is this game is not played on paper. This guy has not been able to do what he loves for a very long time. Just how has he come through this experience?
Well, you saw it, and I'm living it with Jonathan. I my heart kind of goes out for him,
Right.
because he comes in every single day and goes through that rehab, and it's tedious and lonely. But he's a strong guy, and I can tell you he's optimistic and he's encouraged that he'll be able to get on the floor, and we're hoping that he can.
Right. How about Jalen? You saw glimpses last year.
Yeah.
We know rookies in general. I mean, it's very few and far between when they are big-time impact players in their first season. What was your overall assessment of how he looked when he was out there, and you're seeing him, I'm sure, a little bit now? Just how you seeing Jalen?
Well, Jalen, when he played 40-plus games. He missed almost half the season, but when he was out there, he played very well, especially on the defensive end of the floor. He's a dynamic defender. He's never going to lose that. He's only going to get better at that. He's bigger, stronger already, and he takes pride in defending people. And, offensively, he's a rookie. So he had some moments where he looked good and some moments he didn't look quite so good. But he'll get better, and I think the guy has an extremely, extremely bright future.
Right.
I have a Mo Bamba question for you. So I think from the outside looking in, you draft Paolo, and you guys have so much size. What was it about Mo and his skill set and what you've seen that led to you guys retaining him?
Well, you think about that. We have 4 years into him. And for a guy like that, you spend all that time and effort on him, and him putting the effort in as well. And for us, we thought if we could bring him back, and give him more time, why not? He's a young big, and what Mo Bamba has, he's one of the longest length reaches in the NBA. He's a good rim protector, and he's a really, really good three-point shooter. I mean, for a 7-foot guy, those are all huge check marks. And he's a really good person. He's one of those guys you enjoy seeing Mo every day. And those guys are important as well. And I hope that he can continue to grow and develop his game. And the great thing for Mo, I think right now is buddy of mine in the NBA I was talking to. We were talking about the contract, and he goes, this is great for Mo. He didn't say it was great for us. He said it's great for Mo because it's putting a little pressure on Mo now. Okay, now it's time. So, and I think he'll accept the challenge. And, as I said, great guy with a skill set like that. It's kind of an easy one to bring him back.
Magic beat the Warriors in Orlando this year, and it was Mo Bamba hit the clinching three in that game because Draymond Green overhelped. I mean, and you mentioned, there is size, obviously, you wonder about his fit with Paolo, but the reality is if he hits threes at a high rate, like that plays anywhere. You could be a stretch five next to, a ball handling four if you could stretch the floor out.
No question. Bigs have a difficult time, stepping out there and matching up against guys like that. And it's kind of funny you talk about the game-winning shot because our team sports psychologist at one point in the season said to me, if you had one guy to take a shot, a three-point shot to win the game, who are you going to take? I said, Mo Bamba. And I don't know if it's before the game or after the game, whatever. But I mean, that's how much faith
Just
I
say
have.
before. You call
Okay.
it the shot.
But I mean, he's so amazing because he has these giganto hands, and usually guys with big hands like that,
Yeah.
the ball just doesn't fit as well. The ball's too small for those kind of guys.
Yeah.
But he, the good Lord just gave him a really good gift, and that gift of an amazing touch. His ball just flutters up to the basket.
So as you analyze Mo and Paolo and the two bigs idea, before you jumped on the set, we were talking about Minnesota. And I wonder, even if you go a little more macro, what is your feeling about this interesting trend in the league where you've got the Celtics and the Warriors of the world trying to have long wings, switchability, that type of thing, and then Minnesota obviously going all in with Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns. You guys have size. Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yep. Just in general, how do you see that trend and the idea that, whether or not that can work?
Well, I say this, you talk about like time in the league, and, everything is cyclical, right? And so, you've got the Golden State thing going on right now.
Yep.
And all you're doing when you're trying to play them is you're trying to match up, your smalls against their smalls. And when you do that, you usually don't win.
Right.
And I just think, I look at that Golden State situation and say, if they do well, and if they do really well and happen to win, people are going to say, we got to be bigger. And so I think it could happen.
The Minnesota one?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Golden State.
I'm sorry. Yes,
no worries.
Minnesota. Yes,
Yeah.
with Minnesota and that what they've done there.
Right.
I mean, that's very interesting. Size is still a factor. And we're talking about our team right now and saying, look, we have the potential to put if we get healthy, a very, very big team on the floor.
Right.
But if you have people that can move their feet and handle and pass, you can be okay.
Right.
I know Boston didn't beat the Warriors in the finals, but Robert Williams was a huge factor in the Warriors' struggles at times.
And he was never healthy either.
Yeah. And even you go back to the second round, they struggled at times with Memphis. That's because Jaren Jackson, was bothering them. I mean, rim protection is just massive in this league. And I did kind of want to ask you about Paulo's defense, though, because I would say, anyone that was skeptical of him as potential number one pick, a lot of times what you would hear is we don't know what he'll be as a defender. Maybe he wasn't that great at times in college. What do you see? I mean, clearly has the body, as you mentioned earlier. What do you see, his future, maybe 24-year-old Paolo as on the defensive end? Well,
He's got the strength to do it, which is one of the, real factors, too. You got to be strong enough to defend. But I think his feet are good enough. So his downside is he doesn't have great length. He doesn't have the real long arms. So you lose that kind of rim protector at that power forward position. But I think his feet are good enough that he's going to be able to defend. So I don't really worry about him defensively. There's still that kind of an old school part of me that if you want to defend and you want to rebound, you'll do it. If you don't, it doesn't matter what you have, you're not going to do it. So hopefully he's got the heart and the desire to defend, but I do think his feet are good enough to do it.
You know me well enough to know how much I enjoy it with the way I cover the league to get behind the scenes and to learn as much as possible about the way you guys do what you do. And so, as always, to whatever degree you are comfortable sharing, I would love to learn a little bit more about the days and the hours leading up to the pick on Paolo and the idea that, we keep using the phrase outside looking in. We had one vision where we thought it was going to be a Jabari Smith, something like that. What was it like for you guys as a group? And even that moment when the outside world figures out finally what you're doing is I've talked to other executives who shocked the world before and they get a kick out of it. Like, all right, you guys, you thought you had a beat on us and you didn't. Like, just what was the experience like? And when did you guys decide that this was the guy for you?
I think that you give our organization a little credit for people staying close to the vest.
Sure.
That's one. And the other thing is, it's Jeff Weltman, president of basketball ops, who I've worked with Jeff. This is our 5th time working together in
Is
the
it really
NBA.
5?
Oh, it's kind of crazy. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was a coach. He was a video guy, coach. He moved up. Anyway, so we worked in the front office positions now, our 3rd time doing this. But just with Jeff, he's it's just who he is. He's I'm more emotional and reactive, and Jeff is just a very, very deep thinker.
Yeah.
And he's going to ask every question, and he's just the kind of guy, like, he isn't going to make that decision until the last minute. So, there is a part of it, like people said, where we're trying to be coy, we were hiding something. I think it says something also about the 3 picks that, we said, like, there's 3 guys and there was that tier of 3. So, no disrespect to Jabari, love him. No disrespect to Chet, love him, I think they're going to be very, very good players, and Paolo the same thing. But I think all 3 of those guys were that close.
Right.
That was a part of it. The fact that I think we stayed close to the vest, and it's just Jeff Weltman being Jeff.
Right. You say that the questions, I wonder, as you analyzed it, what were the main questions that you think, finally made him and all of you feel good about it?
I did the basketball questions, like how's he going to do defensively? The question about Chet, a question about Jabari, whatever it was, just be the amount of questions, and just trying to be as thorough as possible. And I can just tell you, that guy's a thorough guy.
Right.
He kind of like wears me out a little bit, but he's doing it right, and he's made a lot of good decisions in his career.
5 stops together. Y'all got some chemistry and some. I mean, you're talking about having a wavelength between 2 men and 2 executives that is, I've got to imagine it makes the work experience.
I'll tell you this. It's kind of neat when Jabari Smith was in. It was kind of neat. He was talking about, Jeff was asking him about, like, his teammates and like, if something happens, like, what do you say to that teammate? And he goes, well, if like your teammate's your brother. And he looks at us and he goes, you guys are brothers, right? And I thought he meant like we were real brothers at first. And then I realized he was saying, no, your brothers like teammates,
Right.
And so that's hey, we're like an old married couple. We've been together a long time.
Right. I like it. John, I feel like an interview, you tell me, I don't know if this ever gets old, because in general, executives don't like talking about other teams' players, but as you know, you will forever be tied to Giannis Antetokounmpo and you being the guy who picked him in Milwaukee. And when we chatted yesterday on the phone, I was just having fun with the fact that I watched the movie that Disney put out, Rise, and sure enough, there's, I forget the actor's name, but a gentleman playing John Hammond, and I thought the likeness was pretty good. Then I felt bad because I guess your wife felt like it was a little bit too old.
My wife's good. My wife has told her friends, just know this: the movie is not about John, it's about Giannis.
Right.
So keep that.
Oh, it's not about the rise of John Hammond?
No, not quite.
But I mean, and I don't think you've seen the movie, but to see Giannis go from those days, and that story really is truly incredible. Beyond basketball, you got a family that is, going through what they went through, and then to see where it's gone from there. Is that always going to bring you a certain amount of joy to have played the part that you played in that story?
Yeah, to be connected with something like that, it's special, and that's something that I'll have with him and he'll have with me. But he's such a neat guy, and so happy for him and so happy for his family. They're all so deserving, and it's a great story, a truly great story, a great story for the Milwaukee Buck organization, for the city of Milwaukee, for the state of Wisconsin. It's a winner.
Are we getting royalties from the Rise movie?
No, I'm lucky even to have my name in it.
All right, fair enough. All right, John, you've got a game to go watch. We can't thank you enough for joining us. This was fantastic. Haven't seen you in years because of COVID and
I know.
and the disconnect,
Yeah,
but thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.